What's going on, everybody? This is Jen Someone Six Pack here again, and today I want to talk to you guys about the Senior Bowl, which was today. The North defeating the South 34-17 in a pretty good game, in my opinion, as far as looking at the top performers, looking at some of the players that are projected to go to be drafted. We really saw those players outshine others, and you know, I love the Senior Bowl. I love the East-West Shrine game simply because I love if you want to show an organization that you can play, I think that these two games are very important, right? This is almost like an all-star game. And I'm not. I don't like the combine. I don't like the pro. I don't like the pro days because yes, you might test well. It doesn't mean that you're going to be a good football player, right? It's more these games right here. This is on you. This is you on film, right? Whether if you've improved, whether if you show some really good technique that scouts and GMs will believe that it will benefit their team. I just love these type of games. I'm not a big fan of the pro days and the combines. These are the type of games I look forward to. But talking about the Senior Bowl real quick, as far as the standout players, got to talk about Bradley Anae. Jesus, I mean Bradley Anae just boosted his draft stock. He was all over the place, man. Nobody could block him. He was constantly in the backfield. He was consistently getting pressure on the quarterback. He kept hitting the quarterback. I think he had like 2 or 3 sacks this game, or at least hit the quarterback 5 times. I mean, quarterbacks couldn't rest when he was rushing, right? Jalen Hurts was uncomfortable most of the day because of Bradley and I rushing on the one edge. But like I said, this is what we've seen from him in Utah for the last 2 to 3 years. Him becoming a menace in the backfield. But then you look at the other side, and you look at a guy like Josh Uche, more of a hybrid type of outside linebacker, a guy that can play as a stand-up linebacker, hand on the ground. You can put him and you can line him up as an off-ball linebacker, and he can make you some plays. I was very impressed with O'Shea during the Alabama game because he was making plays all over the field. I'm like, who is this kid? But him and Bradley and I coming off the edge together were amazing. I mean, these guys were getting constant pressure on the quarterback. We saw O'Shea as an off-ball linebacker a little bit, made some plays himself. I mean, O'Shea boosted his draft stock today. He boosted it, right? He doesn't have to test well at the combine or the pro day. It won't help, but you just look at that Senior Bowl film when he's constant, when him and I are just dominating. I think that scouts are going to fall in love with Josh Uche and Bradley and I after this game. Looking at the other side, look at a guy like Elton Robinson from Syracuse. This is a guy that had a couple sacks, a guy that also was making plays in the backfield. You look at the running back position, right? You look at the running back position just real quick. You look at a guy like LaMichael Pirine. Didn't have the greatest senior season in the world, but definitely showed up. Look at a guy like Kelly from UCLA. He stood out very well. He had over, I think, 100 rushing yards this game. You look at a guy like Anderson from TCU, had over 100 all-purpose yards, right? Was able to get a 74-yard receiving touchdown in this game. I thought that he had a pretty good day as far as him being a receiver coming out the backfield and also running in between the tackles. Who else was I pretty impressed with? I was pretty impressed with Jawan Jennings, right? Jawan Jennings, he didn't have the most yards, but I loved his route tree pattern. He made a tough physical contested catch in the red zone when Jalen Hurts threw a really nice ball to him. I'm a big fan of Jawan Jennings from Tennessee. I thought that he didn't have the greatest day in the world, but I felt like he was impressive. I felt like he was good enough to make some scouts really like him a lot. Courtney Davis was, in my opinion, the best receiver today. I really love Courtney Davis. Yes, he didn't have the yards, but if you go back, look at his route tree pattern, look at his release timing, how he was able to separate from corners. He did a great job. There were some balls that were behind him. There were some balls that were too high. Just not some good balls by the quarterbacks today. But I thought that Courtney Davis had a pretty good showing, showcasing today. You look at guys like at the quarterback position, Justin Herbert. Didn't hurt himself. I didn't feel like he had a very impressive day, but I felt like he didn't hurt himself, right? He was, 8 for 13. He was able to fit some good balls in. Again, some of the balls were not his fault. Some of the incompletions were not his fault. Some of the receivers it was just a lot of catchable balls that the receivers and the tight ends should have caught that they didn't. I felt like he only had 2 or 3 bad passes, but besides that, I felt like overall wise, I felt like he had a pretty decent day. Was able to get a touchdown. I thought that Justin Herbert did a good show, had a pretty good showcasing. Jalen Hurts did not have a good start. Again, I'm not going to blame it all on Hurts because the offensive line could not protect him. He was getting pressured by Anai, Uche, a lot of guys in the interior all day long. They just couldn't block for him. But Jalen Hurts, he was able to stand in there. He was a competitor. He fought our way to the end. He got better in the second half. Was able to get a touchdown throw to Jawan Jennings. A beautiful fade in the goal line. Really loved that a lot. Jalen Hurts, got to give him a lot of credit. Didn't have the greatest day in the world. Had an interception, but overall wise, he stood in there, showed some heart. And I feel he's going to get drafted. I don't know where he's going to get drafted. I don't feel like he's going to be a first-round pick, but I think he's a player that a team will fall in love with him. They'll fall in love with his work ethic, and he'll get drafted. What else? And we saw Antonio Gandy. We saw him make a couple plays. He was able to get a touchdown. I know a lot of people were high up on him for Liberty. He was able to get a touchdown reception this game. Is there anybody else I'm forgetting? Jordan Love had an up and down day, in my opinion. I still feel like a team might reach on him in the first round. It just wasn't impressive enough for me, in my opinion. Terrell Lewis didn't really. I don't even think he played in this game. I could be wrong about that, but I have watched the practices. He dominated the practices from day 1 all the way to day 3. He dominated the practices. So Terrell Lewis is a guy that he didn't even have to play, but he simply dominated on a lot of one-on-one drills and a lot of pass rushing drills against the offensive linemen. He dominated. So that's a guy that, in my opinion, he's going to test well at the combine. He's a freak of nature. He's going to test well at the combine. He's going to have a good pro day. Terrell Lewis is going to be a first-round pick. The question is if he's going to go early or if he's going to go late. But Terrell Lewis really helped himself, showcasing himself in the draft. I like Jared Maiden's play at the safety position. He made a play breaking up the ball, which could have been an interception. Kenley from Georgia Southern he was able to get an interception. Really loved his play. But yeah, that was pretty much about it, at least for the stand-up players. I don't remember everybody's name. I think there was a couple players. I think it was like one player from Iowa. I forgot what his name is. He made a couple plays on the interior that I really liked. But yeah, a lot of players helped themselves. There was a lot of players that definitely hurt themselves in this game. Man, I'm just not even going to talk about those players. But overall wise, I felt like for a lot of the players that needed the boost, that needed the love, that needed the recognition in order for these GMs and scouts to get their names on the board, guys like Uche, Anai, I think Justin Herbert, Kenley, those guys, Robinson, those guys did enough. Those guys did enough in order to get some recognition, that those scouts would definitely look at their film a lot more now and say, what did we miss on these guys? Because these guys showed out. Michael P. Rondas definitely deserves that. Anderson deserves that. Kelly from UCLA definitely deserves that as well. Courtney Davis and Jawan. Like I said, I can go on. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. If you guys liked the video, hit the like button, share the video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, especially if you want to catch me more often, especially when I upload, because I pretty much upload frequently. So anyway, guys, that's all I got. Hopefully you guys have a good night. This is Gent716. I'm out. Peace.